Hello and welcome back to episode 5.5 of HardReset's high score shooter game tutorial in Godot. In this episode, we'll work on randomizing the game world look. Let's begin. Okay, so as you can see, in the last episode we've managed to create some nice foliage. Now, we are one episode left to making camera, but before we do that, I want to show you as a little DLC how can we actually customize and add a little bit of randomness to our game world look. So as you can see, we have the node plants and it has every single plant node under it. So as you can see, we are moving it by accidentally. We have quite a lot of them. So how can we actually make them randomized so they will look differently? Because remember, in our plant, we've managed to make a system that has the ability to, for example, switch between different assets, if we of course have different assets, by just going into this and setting this as a different value. So yeah, this will be probably a very cool thing to have. But how can we do that? First of all, I'm going to change the type of our node plant. So I'll change this type to be a sprite 2D. And I will go here and put this texture. Oh, sorry, this doesn't work like this. Put a new texture on our main plant because we want to remove this. So let's go and delete node 2D. Okay. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm pretty stupid, because then... Wait a moment, I'm thinking, no, it's fine, okay, it's fine. The reason why I'm doing that, so I will just copy what I did before, 32. We want to go into transform, scale it up, but remember that chain needs to be on. And we can offset that to be a little bit up like this, so -16. Okay, so as you can see now, everything is working fine, everything is working just as previously. But now, our plant, it has only one node. This is a very simple optimization because thanks to that, now we have a little bit less nodes in our game scene. Okay, but how can we actually customize this? Well, let's go into our game world and let's create a new script for the plants. So let's go here and I will put the script into the world, so plants, and it's going to create. Now, the reason why we want to set this as a script is because we can basically go through every single plant here and randomize its look. Now, technically, we could add a script into the plant itself, but this way we would have to need... Wait a moment. If we would add a plant or a script to every single plant individually, then we would have a lot of scripts technically running in the background. They would only have the ready function, but still, I believe that it is a good practice to make sure that we don't really have a duplicated code anywhere. So instead, we can make a parent that will have code, and the parent will be responsible for setting up individual things. Okay, so first of all, let's go and create function, and let's be the ready function, so it will play after everything is prepared. Now, what we want to do is we want to take every single child from here and we want to loop them. So what we can do is we can say that for plant in and now get underscore children. Now if we go here, let's go into pass. We can say that get children basically returns an array of every single plant here. Like of every single children of our plant, which will be only plants, which is very good. Because now we can go into plant, and now we can say if plant, so every single, this will run for 13 loops, so every single plant, if plant is sprite 2D, then we want to say that we want to create a new variable, and we can call it, actually let's rename this to child, so for child in get children, and if the child is sprite 2D, so if we by accident put something that is not plant in our plants folder, we can say that variable, and let's say that plant, and make it type, so by default it will have all the functions of sprite2d, and now we want to input it as a child. So basically what we're doing here is, instead of having weird node that we don't really know what it is, we now have a plant that we know is a sprite2d. Good. So now we can access a few things like plant region. So as you can see, we have region rectangle, and if we go to our plant, we can see that the region rect is something like this. So we have the 0, 0, which the first few things are coordinates, but we won't actually be changing the y. The first coordinate, 0, is actually our location of the sprite. So what we want to do is we want to randomize this value specifically. And you notice that because our sprite are the size of 32, all of these are essentially, as you can see here, so 64 and like 96, all of these are basically it's not power to the 2, but they are multiplying the value of 32. So this is 32 times 0, this is 32 times 1, this is 32 times 2, etc., etc. So what we can do is we can take this value and we can randomize it this way. So let's go into our player. First let's check how many sprites we have. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 6 different sprites, but we actually want to iterate from the 0. So we have actually 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So what we can do in our script is basically we want to go into var random value, and we can say that this is random dot, let's say the rand. Now we want to do a rand I range. So as you can see, this will return a random integer between, for example, 0 or 1. So this will return only 0 and 1. But what we want to do is we want to return this, going back to plants. We want to start from 0 and go into 5. So this is the rand value, or let's call it plant index. Good. And now we can say that plant dot region rect, and we can set it as, let's go into rect2. And as you can see, if we go to rectangle, okay, rect2, and we can see that we have an x, y, width, and height. So we only want to change y essentially. So this will be 32 multiplied by our plant index. So it will basically randomly set that this might be 32 by 0, which means that we'll have our basic bush, or it will be something different. And the rest is going to be set by 0 because this is y, and these last two are 32, 32 because they are width and height of our plant region. Okay, and now actually, technically, everything is done. Yeah, like literally everything is done. If we now play the game, we can see that we have a different looks, different things. So we can go here, and if I restart the game, we can see that we have now a different bush and a different bush and a different bush. But that is not everything. Sorry for the random noises. We have, if we go to our plant, we have something called flip h, which means that our sprite will actually flip horizontally. So instead of actually additionally, we can flip randomly few plants, so we will also have a little bit more variety. So let's go back to our script, and now let's make an if statement. So if. Now you can notice that this is actually already working. So we can make another random value, but we don't really have to put it as a different, and we don't really have to put this as a different, wait, we don't really have to put this as a different variable. So if we go into randf, and you can see that randf basically returns a random formatting point between 0 and 1, which is what we want to do, because if this will be higher than 0.5, And basically this means that this has a 50% chance of being true. We want to say that plant.fliph is equals to true. If this will randomly pull a value which is lower than this, we'll say that plant.fliph is equals to false. So now if we play the game, we can see that, for example, this one is flipped, or this, or actually it's not. This little plant here is actually flipped because this is the base look of it, and this is the flipped, or vice versa. And of course, if we play the game one more time, we can see that it is also here. And okay, this unfortunately didn't flip. But if I restart, we can see that still not everything flips. But we have a little bit more variety. Now we can see that this one is flipped, and these logs as well. So amazing, we have even more variety. But what if we don't really want this to be the exact same thing all the time? Because let's be honest, if we have this set to this is our game world, right? And these plants are always in the same direction. Now technically you could make a system that will randomly input our plants, but for now let's make a chance that some plant will disappear completely. And you can also do that. So if we have if we go into here, we can say that we can go into if, and one more time we are doing a randf, so this will be a random value between 0.1 to 1.1, and if this is, let's say, smaller than 0.3, for example, so we have only 30 chance for a plant to disappear, or like one fourth of a chance, then we want to set plant.visible to false. Okay, and we can also go and say something like continue. Now continue is interesting. Basically what continue does is, let's say plant number 2 will roll 1.1. So it will be set to visible. And now technically we don't really need to roll for the ability to flip for a character. Like actually we can set it as this. Because if the plant number 2 rolls something that's smaller than 0.25, this means that this plant won't be visible for our game, which means that we can go and call continue, which will skip all of this and already move on to the plant number 3. Because, like, let's think about it, we don't really need the ability to roll for our random plant look and roll for our flipping ability if our plant is visible anyways, invisible. And as a nice way, we can always make it so if not, and the plant.visible is equals to true. Now, this technically isn't needed because we are by default enabling these to true. But if you would sometimes change this via code or change this via inspector, it's nice to just have this. Or if you want, you can just disable this, and this is completely fine as well. So now if we play the game, we have a chance that, for example, not every single plant will be in the same spot. So if we go here, you can see that now this one is missing, and now everything is actually here, and these two are missing, and all of that. And this will work for every single plant in the game. And what's really cool is that if you want to add another plant, so for example, you can just put a plant like here and here and here. If you want to make sure that these are a child of plants, then the code will work for them as well, which is a very nice system, and it's really cheap to just do this. Like seriously, the game feels so much more alive now. But this is the end of this episode. I hope that you've learned a little bit on how you can make a for loops that will iterate over every single node in, for example, our plants. And you can use that to, for example, randomize few things. Because now if you think about it, you now know how to get a random value. And technically what you can do is you can write a function func open chest, And if the value is, for example, less than this, we have a legendary loot. If not, we have rare loot. And if else, it's just going to be common loot. Now you have a lot of abilities, and all of that for free in this additional episode of our course. But anyway, it's the end of this episode. If you're enjoying this series so far, leave a comment, like the video, and good luck on your game dev journey. See you next time!